All right, Islam, you got the floor, bud.
Islam, a divine warning by the Prophet for the nations. The citizens of all free national governments, according to their national constitution, are all of one family bearing one free national name. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables and are subject to all inferior names and abuses and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. And it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the names and the principles that delude to slavery. I, the prophet, was prepared by a great God of law to warn my people to repent from their sinful ways and go back to that state of mind of their forefathers' divine and national principles, that they will be law abiders and receive their divine right as citizens, according to the free national constitution that was prepared for all free national beings. They are to claim their own free national name and religion. There is but one issue for them to be recognized by this government and of the earth, and it comes only through the connection of the Moorish Divine National Movement, which is incorporated in this government and recognized by all other nations of the world. And through it, they and their children can receive their divine rights unmolested by other citizens, that they can cast a free national ballot at the polls under the free national constitution of the state's government and not under a granted privilege, as has been the existing condition for many generations. You who doubt whether I, the prophet, and my principles are right for the redemption of my people, go to those that know law in the city hall and among the officials in your government and ask them under an intelligent tone, and they will be glad to render you a favorable reply, for they are glad to see me bring you out of darkness into light. Money doesn't make the man. It is free national standards and power that makes a man a nation. The wealth of all national governments, gold and silver and commerce, belong to the citizens alone. And without your national citizenship, by name and principle, you have no true wealth. And I am hereby calling on all true citizens that stand for a national free government and the enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work, because I need all support from all true American citizens of the United States of America. Help me to save my people who have fallen from the constitutional laws of government. I am depending on your support to get them back to the constitutional fold again, that they will learn to love instead of hate and will live according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, supporting our free national constitution of the United States of America. I love my people and I desire their unity and mind back to their own national and divine standard, because day by day they have been violating the national and constitutional laws of their government by claiming names and principles that are unconstitutional. If Italians, Greeks, English, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, and Arabians are forced to proclaim their free national name and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America, it is no more than right that the law should be enforced upon all other American citizens alike. In all other governments, when a man is born and raised there and asks for his national descent name, and if he fails to give it, he is misused, imprisoned, or exiled. Any group of people that fail to answer up to the constitutional standards of law by name and principles, because to be a citizen of any government, you must claim your national descent name, because they place their trust upon issue and names formed by their forefathers. The word Negro deludes in the Latin language to the word nigger, the same as the word colored deludes to anything that is painted, varnished, and dyed. and every nation must bear a national descent name for their forefathers, because honoring thy fathers and thy mothers, your days will be lengthened upon this earth. These names have never been recognized by any true American citizen of this day. Through your free national name, you are known and recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized by said national government in which they live. The 14th and 15th Amendments brought the North and South in unit, placing the Southerners who were at that time without power with the constitutional body of power. And at that time, 1865, the free national constitutional law that was in force since 1774 declared all men equal and free. And if all men are declare all men equal and free, and if all men are declared by the free national constitution to be free and equal, since that constitution has never been changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendments for the salvation of, I missed that part. So there is but one supreme issue for my people to use to redeem that which was lost, and that is through the above statements. Then the lion and the lamb can lie down together in yonder hills, and neither will be harmed, because love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice will be reigning in this land. In those days, the United States will be one of the greatest civilized and prosperous governments of the world. But if the above principles are not carried out by the citizens and my people in this government, the worst is yet to come, because the great God of the universe is not pleased with the works that are being performed in North America by my people, and this great sin must be removed from the land to save it from enormous earthquakes, diseases, etc. And I, the prophet, do hereby believe that this administration of the government, being more wisely prepared by more genius citizens that believe in their free national constitution and laws, and through the help of such classes of citizens, I, the prophet, truly believe that my people will find the true and divine way of their forefathers and learn to stop serving carnal customs and merely ideas of man that have never done them any good but have always harmed them. So I, the prophet, am hereby calling aloud with a divine plea to all true American citizens to help me to remove this great sin which has been committed and is being practiced by my people in the United States of America, because they know it is not the true and divine way. And without understanding, they have fallen from the true light into utter darkness of sin. And there is not a nation on earth today that will recognize them socially, religiously, politically, or economically, etc. In their present condition of their endeavorment, in which they themselves try to force upon a civilized world, they will not refrain from their sinful ways of action, and their deeds have brought Jim Crowism, segregation, and everything that brings harm to human beings on earth. And they fought the Southerner for all these great misuses. But I have traveled in the South and have examined conditions there, and it is the works of my people continuously practicing the things which bring dishonor, disgrace, and disrespect to any nation that lives the life. And I am hereby calling on all true American citizens for moral support and finance to help me in my great missionary work to bring my people out of darkness into marvelous light.
Slow.
My bad. I'm talking. I'm muted the whole time. Peace and love, brother Rocky, Islam. I see you came in here. Peace and love, brother. Hope all is well. Um, brother, homie Cardo, I'm curious, what was your thoughts on what was just read? Are you muted?
So
There you
yeah, I just had to unmute myself. So peace and love, everyone. I've done a little research about I guess the basis of this topic. So I'm like I say, I'm honored to kind of be here. I've watched some videos in my 39 years over the years about how this nation was originally formed. That beautiful flag in the background of you, my friend. And how this nation is actually the flag that's in this background. Um, I'm originally from Baltimore, so I've kind of dug into history a lot just because of the area of which I was from. Like Star Spangled Banner, the whole nine was written in the city where I'm from. So like everything that most people believe to know what America is was more or less formatted in that region of where I'm from. And like um I was blessed to talk to another brother like yourself who was, telling me about Mansa Musa, about how back in the day how our brothers were able to go into places like Italy, Andalusia, places like that, and reclaim our lands that were actually ours. um it's kind of like the conflict between us and like Sicilians, because like technically we made Sicilians. So like I know I'm scattering all over the place, but like it's like I say, it's a lot of like truthful things that you kind of know it, like you kind of like feel it. Like it's like we as melanated people on this land, we look completely different from like technically those who are from Africa. Like you can kind of see, like a lot of people say it, like they'll say like, oh, Black Americans don't look like Africans. And it's like, because we were already here. A lot of our ancestors, a lot of our people were already on this land. Indigenous, the Aboriginals, those who were here before the conquering of this land look like the people in this room. You know what I mean? And I just think that like something like this is dope because knowledge is power. The average person, especially us brothers, a lot of times we don't get information until we sitting in a cell somewhere. And I like I said, for something like this to be available, I think it's just a beautiful thing because brothers want to. I know brothers who wanna learn. They just, it's just like education. You're sitting in school. The teacher is reaching everybody but that one student in the back, right? And it's like that one student in the back is probably the one who probably who's probably yearning for that knowledge. You know what I mean? And it's like, um, let's not pass up those students anymore.
go.
you know it's the same thing, like we can give the knowledge if you choose not to take the knowledge and understand the importance of it and how it could benefit not just your livelihood but your spirit and all those around you. Then it's not forced upon you. Like, y'all didn't force me to be here, you know what I mean? But you get to take knowledge and you get to use it to empower you. That's the old saying, like they say, knowledge is power. And a lot of brothers don't have this knowledge. A lot of brothers, there was a good brother, a friend of mine, put me on YouTube with, and he was talking about the same things, talking about like how the word black means pale technically, and how it means just everything but what we are. And for us to even use that term to describe ourselves is just not a good thing. You know what I mean? So it's a lot more to just, the document in front of me. And like, I'm blessed to be able to just read over this and have more access to the knowledge. Because all of it's true. Like, it's all true. That's why the sun purifies our skin and it burns everyone else. strongest force in the universe, and we get cleansed by it. So it's like, you know, so not the strongest force in the universe, but even if you, like I say, like to say like their science system, their solar system, it's like you're speaking of your solar system, and the strongest force in that solar system gives my people vitamin D, but it burns yours.
Right.
So it's like, you know, we have to acknowledge those things. We have to stop calling ourselves the minority when we're the most, you know, we're the most spread out people amongst this planet. So I think it's just having that information and having, like you said, taking back that pride within yourselves. You know, some of us don't even want to wear our natural hair because we're too worried about what somebody going to say about it. You know what I mean? So it's just really taking it back, that energy that makes you, you know, that makes us the you know, that one of a kind, because that we are one of a kind. I think we keep failing to we keep failing to remember that sometimes. Like they can put us in the middle of the wilderness and we'll still survive because it's embedded in us. This is it's naturally engraved in us. No books, you know, even if there was no books, if there was no form of paper education, like the Most High just touches us different than others. And if we're willing to listen, you know, we'll be able to grasp those things. And I think this right here is just, you know, a group of brothers and sisters trying to enlighten others about this power that we hold. And I'm honored to be here. So sorry for rambling. You know I talk in circles sometimes, but I appreciate y'all.
I appreciate you sharing, man. And you know, I'm glad that you gravitate towards it. And you know, I was listening to some of the elements of the things that you were saying, and I would say this: yes, that's true. And also to add to that, the purpose and mission statement of Califia Society is to organize those beings that are ultimately light bearers in a structure amongst themselves, economics, rather it be, you know, we got Temple Dude, we centralize finances, we learn law on all levels, whether it be constitutional, treaty, trust law, as it pertains to, you know, having an estate, you know, nationality in a relationship with your property is based on your political status, because you know property can't own property. So that's the point of us going over our illustrious culture.
Absolutely.
Is to do something with it in real time.
Absolutely.
Economically, estate-wise, politically. And then it's like now it's government structure now. You know, once you organize amongst the light bearers. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's, and now you're talking nation state or clan, and you're operational. You know, now it's time to attach businesses to that. You know, we're paying taxes to each other, we're paying dues. We got, you know, treasury, our internal bank getting bigger. Like I say, now it's time to execute a play. We might see it, property. We got internal funds to fix it up, right? And you know, and back to the document that we read, we want to exercise diplomatic relationships with, you know, mayors and things like that.
Absolutely.
It's a bunch of, I don't know if you're aware about the House resolutions that are on the books, talking about our people being Moorish American, Aboriginal to America, North Central and South America, the islands. And that's why it's important to show and prove that we can sustain in the body politic X amount of months, years, and do things. So when we have diplomatic relations, like okay, we're these people in these congressional records, we here right now. They might got something for us, they might got some grants or something. You never know. Like, oh yeah. You never know till you, like this document we just read, go to the city hall with an intelligent tone. You know, right now, you know what I mean? So that's kind of the mind frame too, you know.
Absolutely.
When you start looking at these different people that do know their nationality, look at how they conduct themselves, how they set up businesses amongst each other. They got districts.
Absolutely.
A lot of their people are embedded in politics, you know, where they're the mayors, they're the council, one nationality of people all in one little area. You know what I mean? So that's the leaders.
And I fully feel where you come from, not to cut off. I think that
We're waking up.
since my job, and it's like a lot of smaller like uh,
Yo,
small
your
business
mic
criminal
sound
brands and network.
bad, bro.
Hey, one
Yeah,
second.
that do sound bad.
And it's not dope
Breaking up
say
real.
because like said, just
I had to turn your mic off and turn it back on.
each other to build fine, and
Brother, homie cardio, homie cardio.
and it's us needing to do that more.
He can't. I don't think he can hear us.
Yeah, brother Trey, you can kind of type to him and let him know his mic is kind of.
I think he heard it. You could hear us, Ricardo, huh? Your mic is just messing up right now. You could try turning it on and saying something to us. Yeah, it's just chopping up, brother.
Yeah, real bad.
It's all good.
I heard the majority of it, and yeah, we come to the.
I got a question before we continue. Yo, first of all, I got a statement. Like, okay, it's like everything I'm learning is like precept beyond precept, and I'm dropping down a rabbit hole. Like I feel myself dropping down a rabbit hole because like once I've researched one thing, something else pop up, and it's like a never ending thing. But that's not what I'm. How do we lose our way like with all of this? Like I'm 43 years old, brother, and I'm just learning all of this at 43 years old. Like I'm kind of pissed that I was bamboozled and hoodwinked, like, and it was right in my face, and I didn't even know it. Like, it's crazy. Like, how did we were so powerful back then? What happened? What happened to allow them to create this whole system and no one was out there to like put a stop to it? I mean, more science people, with the feds and all that. I don't know the proper term, but they've been out here, but it's always been like in the background. It's never been nothing out in the forefront. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to figure out what all this knowledge we have and had back in the day of the laws and stuff and what they owe us and what we supposed to be, how we supposed to be moving. How do we lose our way? Like, how did it get so bad to this, to the point where we got to
That's a
build
good
it
question.
all over again? Like I'm like mad confused, bro. Like I know just like well as is people that stand up guys like right now in real time 2023 how we are. It was cats like that back day too. Like what happened?
So the brother Shalom, brother Rosiris L has his hand up. I would imagine that he wants to answer that. Go ahead.
Do.
All right, you got the floor.
All right. Can you brothers hear me? I'm not choppy or anything, right?
Yeah. No, you good. I can hear you.
You good.
All right. One of the things, brother, is most of our people, parents, grandparents, and all that, fell victim to reconstructed history. See, it's one thing to teach us, and the information was always around, but we've been taught not to look at it in that format. Like, I don't know how many people grew up. You say you're 43, so you're closer to mine. Do you remember when we were taught social studies in school?
Yes.
You notice that they don't really teach it anymore.
No.
Yeah.
So you notice that trades like wood shop, metal shop, all these type things, you notice they don't teach it anymore.
No, and they don't teach cursive either.
Right. Now, because of the way they're teaching us and the way that our parents were learning and grandparents, the way they were learning, they were never taught to look at these things. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a lot of brothers and sisters out there that they got that knowledge. They were out there in the background and everything. But you think for every 5 people, you got about almost 100 brothers and sisters that's against everything they're saying because they were taught in the wrong fashion. So if we wake up to the knowledge, like the brother said earlier in the class, most of us don't get this knowledge until we go on one of those plantations. So then we go into them plantations, what we got? Time. What does the time allow us to have? It allows us to sit and reflect.
Word.
And then you got brothers that sit there, they get these years, they reflect, and they try to come home and spread this information and teach this information because it's light. And because of where we come from most of the time, because we got it in a place that is considered dark, most people are not trying to hear it. Oh, you on that convict stuff. You ain't about to hear that. You know what I mean? You walking around with a fez. Oh, no, you a Shriner. People don't even people don't even understand that the Shriners adopted.
It's different.
Right, and they adopted our feds. And because they adopted our feds, and it was in the 1800s, you take miscommunication, misteaching, reconstructed history, and now you come 100 years later. What happens? Nobody knows. They think this is a Shriner's hat. Why? Because for 100 years, they've been taught
that's who they saw.
Shriner's hat. So no one knows about the Moors unless you really do your due diligence and go look at things.
And let me be honest. Let me be honest about. I'm sorry to cut you off, Elder, but let me be honest about one more thing. Right? Check it.
Absolutely.
I done tried to talk to about since I've gained this knowledge. I done approached about 6 brothers. Ain't now one of them come sign up, do nothing. Now one of them. Like it's like the young people are who we gotta get these young brothers in here. You know what I'm saying? The OGs, they gonna get the knowledge and they gonna spread it, but these young people is who we need to be in here. These young brothers don't want to hear nothing, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? As we trying to build Califia Society up, I'm having trouble. Like, I don't just blurt this stuff out to anybody. I study people, I watch them, the people that I work with, and I see how they move. And you know what I'm saying? I may approach them.
Hey, can I say something though? Can I say something? I just want to add on to it just a little bit. Like for that part right there, I feel like when people decide that they don't want to listen, not that they don't want to listen, it's just the fact that they're stuck in their ways. So when they're stuck in their ways,
but you don't know that they'll be like, "Word, I'ma hit them because I give them the Instagram. Oh, I'ma hit them," and then they don't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, but you gotta give people time though. See, people they do things on their own time. Like, and the thing about people that do things on their own time, like once you drop a little sauce in their ear, or I would say a seed in their ear, it'll grow on its own. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like today, you know, I let a brother know, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like I was meditating, you know what I'm saying? I do my own little meditation daily sometimes, you know what I'm saying? And you know, he was smoking or whatever, and he was like, hey man, that's how I meditate too. So I was like, okay, he probably most likely into what I'm into, but I want to see how deep is he willing to go for his bloodline. So what I did is I was like, hey man, let me holler at you right quick. I want you to look this up on your phone, and then, you know, it's my number. And you know, if you decide to, you know, ask more questions or be
just
more
like you did me,
interest,
just like
yeah,
you
it's like
did
I
me.
did you, yeah. But hear me out. So I said, hey man, you know, I want you to look up this word called MXM, right? And so he looked it up, and you know, from there it's up to him to read. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what I'm saying, that's really where it starts at, man. Dropping the seed on people and then moving forward. But everybody got their own technique. But I just want to say, like, that was my technique, and 9 out of 10, you know, if he's really interested, the soul gonna bring him back to, you know what I'm saying, what it's supposed to be. That's all I want to say.
I think I reached one brother.
It's the one dude I was telling you about. He wants to fuck with me.
What? One second. Let me greet the brothers that just came in here. Brother Benjamin Bey, peace and love, brother.
Peace and love, brother. How you doing?
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Peace and love,
Islam, pardon.
Brother King L. Islam, peace and love, brother.
Islam, part of self, man. It's kind of busy where I'm at, so I got the camera off and the mic off. But Islam, appreciate you being here.
Likewise. Can I say something as far as what the brother Shalom has stated?
Come on with it, brother. I'm here.
Yeah, I was gonna say the first part, like I'm agreeing with what the brother said, like, you know, what you doing is already a great thing by sharing it, even though some of them seem resistant to it right now. Like, for example, with me, a Morris brother had gave me his card like years ago, but I was so busy having a lot of stuff already that I was soaking in new in my life. I had a lot of stuff going in my life. So I didn't like shun them down, but I always just kind of had it, in my thoughts on the side. You know what I mean? And then, time later, I got more information
You
on
going
it
on? Yeah.
and I got connected with it. And also I would say, far as like, you were saying like what happened with our people to make us go from, great to crumbling. I would say that at the root of it is our spirits. You know what I mean? Because when we have deception in our heart, when we have alternative motives in our heart, when we are willing to harm our brothers and sisters for a gain, over time that takes place. Like as we were reading when he was reading about, in the beginning, we basically have some people that are our people that are damaging their own people. You know what I mean? And that started from us innerly, but innerly, if we don't have the right spirit, the Most High is not going to give us the mindset to do things the right way. You know what I mean? So
That's
we have
real.
to, yeah, so we have to get our frequencies onto to trying to please the Most High as best as we can, because that's what's going to give us a life of peace and shalom. But over time, when brothers in our own community is willing to F they family, you know what I mean? Okay, now you got to split up between your people. Now the Most High is going to allow somebody else to come in and manipulate the whole situation, because you had, what you would kind of say, you had basically not the right frequency anyway. So when we're not on that right frequency, there's a consequence to that. You know what I mean? And the consequence of us not being on that right frequency and lack of unity and lack of connection with the Most High is put us in a situation where we are today. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't that the outer force was stronger than us. It was our inside that brought us on our downfall. So
That's deep. That's deep, brother. That's deep. That's deep. I felt that. I felt that 100%,
Word.
man.
Word.
Felt that 100% for sure.
Islam on that, brother. Word.
yeah.
Wow. Any other thoughts before I continue with today's demonstration? For the new brother, well, I just get excited when new people come on, but I'm just going to do the demonstration for the day, and we'll be in communication as far as other aspects that I wanted to kind of highlight for today. This is a document or a book by the brother Hakeem Bey, Moorish Paradigm, Book 2. I wanted to read a portion of it. And this is for historical account. A lot of our people, because like the brother Lavelle, who was conversating earlier, and you didn't know how to, and it's not a bad thing. You will be sharp in a historical account. So any nationality of people that you run across, you can let them know that all roads lead to the Moors. So once again, these type of Sundays and when we meet and go over curriculum is designed. It's like the dojo. Once again, it's like the dojo, sharpen our tools on history, law, etc. So we'd be competent as ambassadors when we're talking with people that are not part of the paradigm, but there still are people that need to be woken up under an intelligent tone, right? So one day while coming home from Bear Mountain in New York, the ancestors led me to a book called The Ramapo Mountain People by David Stern Cohen. The book about a group of our people, Aboriginal Moors, inhabiting the Ramapo Mountains in New York, not far from the Tappan Zee Bridge. The Rampo are an example of our people who did not integrate into so-called white society, but who went into relatively inaccessible regions such as the mountains in order to stay outside of the white society in which they seen their people enslaved and ill-treated. The Ramapo claimed descent from the Tuscarora Indians, quote unquote, who are a branch of the Cherokees from North Carolina. European society classified these people as Negroes. So we got Aboriginal Moors from this East Coast territory have been reclassified as Negroes, right? And then when you go to the Civil Rights Act of 1968, what is one of the nicknames of the Civil Rights Act? Indian Civil Rights Act. So we see blacks, Negroes, really the quote unquote Indians, and we know the Indians based on this document, right? We're familiar with this document, the Delaware Codes, and this is just quick reference for when we talking to our people in public, just to show like, okay, we know the Indians was really Moors, right? But not by Indians. So that's we're just talking about common sense things that we can talk to the tools when we're talking to the people when we're being an ambassador out in the public doing missionary work, or it is not coming across as preachy. It's very logical to the senses, and now you can start listening. Brother Abdullah, peace and love, brother.
Peace and love, everyone.
He's like, he broke you up too. He scrambled too, man. Peace and love. You kind of choppy.
It's Brother Abdullah. Whoa.
But can you hear? You can at least hear, right? You can hear clear.
Yeah, peace and love. I'm kind of choppy.
Yeah, you kind
All
of
right,
choppy.
Pete, you see me? Yes.
Getting
This is
better.
Brother Terrence. You can't hear me clear. You can't hear me clear?
Yeah, it's getting better. It's getting better.
Hold on. What's going on? I think you can't hear me.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Yeah.
We'll make it work. We'll make it work.
All right.
Peace and love.
Better?
It's getting better. It's getting better. It's
Yeah,
a slow
signal. All right. Give me a minute here, y'all.
Okay. I'll continue with the demonstration. Brother, so brother, what's his name? Homie Cardo. My point in saying all that is as far as knowing historical competence and the law competence, history and law go together, because you see, if you were to show a common person what I just showed you, is no debate over, the Moors is a religion, and you know what I mean? It's very, very sound, intellectual approach. Factual. All right, so I'll continue.
But say, can I say something right quick before you start? I try not to cut you off while you're teaching and everything, but I do have a question. So when you speak to certain people, of different tribes, I should say, what would be like an example of how you would, even just starting off, how would you present that, because it's a lot of different, tribes out here, really, really a lot. And how would you start it off to get them to be as interested in their own, truth?
I would, whatever nationality of people that you're dealing with, me personally, I like to take it anciently to show them how they was Moors in an intellectual way, with a scholarly way, reference points,
Okay.
Stuff like that. And yeah, I'll start from there, me, amongst other things, but I'll start from there just to answer your question.
I say you answer my question.
Okay. All right. So as you can see, Aboriginal Moors reclassified as Negroes. They say that they're Aboriginal Native American, not brought here from anywhere else. Somehow, or some now classify them as triracial isolates because they are said to be a mixture of the so-called black, red, and white. In reality, these people are the descendants of our people, Aboriginal Moors, with later admixture of the Mongol types, so-called Indian, who some Moors call the Shemites, who came from Asia. Europeans who preferred our society their own. And here's another reference from the book, The Rampo Mountain People. Though it is obvious that these are our people, they outright reject the classification of Negro and Black. All these groups in Eastern United States feel the same way. This is because in the past, they've seen what happened to their brothers and sisters who classified themselves as Negro and Black, and the property status conferred to them as in the case of Dred Scott. Their response to the slave label of Negro and Black is almost exactly the same as the Moors today, only they lack the knowledge that Noble Jew Ali brought to us regarding our Moorish descent in history. They do know for sure they are Aboriginal and were not here brought from a boat. So this is a clan of our people is documented that back to when we read the Divine Warning, names, actions, and deeds that allude to slavery. You have a group of our people, East Coast, that knew who they were. And once again, go back to the sundry for more. So we got to keep doing the repetition just to drill home the point. They weren't the only ones. Back to the Sundry Free Moors Act, which, by the way, had full faith and credit. Why does it have full faith and credit? Why can we use it as law? Article 4, Section 1 of the Constitution. Any public acts, case law, have full faith and credit and is looked at as law. What's looked at as law? The group of our people that was declaring their nationality, getting their point across, that they did not want to be subject to Jim Crow, the Negro Acts. They also went as far as to say that they're allied under a sultan and have a treaty. That has full faith and credit. That is equivalent to a case law. Res judicata. Keep these things in mind. I know it's repetition, but we got new people every week. So it's just certain principles that is going to be repetitive. Since we do have another presentation, I don't want to get too, okay, one more thing. Since we're talking about res judicata, here's another congressional record to substantiate the point that we had a sultan, Moorish sultan, Almoroccan American sultan, look like me and you on these lands in the position of Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, the people we got taught was the founding fathers, how that crew was an inferior position as it relates to our organized government on this land as Moors. Congressional records. This is what I'm about to read. 4th Congress, 1st session. Unless you had a question, Brother Shalom. Did you have a question? Or did you just accidentally unmute your mic, Brother Shalom? Or did you have something to say? You muted now. Okay. I'm gonna continue.
No, I'm good, brother. I was just looking at the document, writing my notes like I normally do.
Okay. Did anybody have any questions, statements before I continue? That's pretty much clear on the full faith and credit and all and the whole. All right. So there's another document, congressional record, Fourth Congress, first session, 1795, where references our treaty. So herewith I transmit for your information and consideration the original letter from the Emperor of Morocco recognizing the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between the United States and his father, the late Emperor, accompanied with the translation thereof and various documents relating to the negotiation by which the recognition was effected. With respect to Morocco, it is proposed to obtain from the Prince Moulay Solomon a recognition of the treaty between the United States and his father, the former emperor. This you will endeavor to effect, if possible, the $20,000, but if you shall find that it cannot be accomplished under $25,000, you're authorized to go to that amount. This negotiation you may either accomplish yourself or by such agency as you shall deem best calculated for the purpose, according as you shall find the state of affairs in Morocco upon your arrival in Europe. Dealing with context, how America is Morocco. When we're saying Morocco, we're talking about the empire at large, which our people here in America had an elected official, which we call Sultan or Emperor. That Sultan or Emperor negotiated a treaty with their higher ups, which were taught the founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, etc. Prior to that, prior to the United States, there was 13 colonies. Prior to the 13 colonies, we got Jamestown. Prior to Jamestown, we have a diplomatic relationship with our Sultan and a higher up of the sovereign power, Queen Elizabeth, which allowed their subjects, they fugitives, they serfs, they vagabonds, or what they call them, to establish colonies and things of that nature over here. So once you know that, that determines your status too, being able to just know that information and relay that to the general public. Because remember, we're talking about tools in our tool belt to talk to the average man and woman as we waking our people up. So this is all context about how a treaty took place here. Specific about certain sultans, Moulay, Sidi Muhammad III. Very specific things you can cross-reference, or anybody can cross-reference for that matter, right? So this is George Washington, President of the United States of America, to His Imperial Majesty, the Emperor of Morocco. This is a letter from George Washington, or correspondence. Being desirous of establishing and cultivating peace and harmony between our nation and His Imperial Majesty, the Emperor of Morocco, look at the respect, look at the esteem that George Washington has given our elected official here in America. I have appointed David Humphreys, one of our distinguished citizens, a commissioner, a plenipotentiary, or our ambassador, representative, giving him full power to negotiate and conclude a treaty of amity and commerce with you. And I pray you give full credit, right? We just read Article 4, Section 1, full faith and credit. That is rooted in that language. It's rooted. See where it's rooted, right? To whatever shall be delivered to you on the part of the United States by him, and particularly when he shall assure you of our sincere desire to be in peace and friendship, that just means treaty, with you and your people. And I pray God to give you health and happiness, done at Philadelphia, this 13th day of March, 1795, in the 19th year of the independence of these states, right? By the President of the United States of America. So the context of the founding fathers of the United States as it relates to our government, the indigenous people of the land, right? We went over the House resolutions, right? But let's just do it again because we have a new brother on here. So when we talk about the House resolution and the things that are, Obama did an executive order and they got codified throughout the municipalities through resolutions. What are these resolutions saying? Moorish Americans are Aboriginal and indigenous to North, Central, and South America. And we just did the Delaware Code that said Indians used to be referred to as Moors. That's the more ancient, proper. So when we're saying the Sultan of Morocco, we're saying America, right? Right? This is how we need to be talking to the public, throwing common sense at them. We read the divine warning, intelligent tone, not only in going to City Hall, but talking to our people in general, using logic. So I want to yield the floor to Brother Benjamin Bey.
This is actually a holiday, right? It's a holiday.
I'm sorry, brother. What are you saying?
Now I was saying, is that actually is that a holiday? More, she said more. Yeah, I seen a document. I was just wondering if that was a holiday.
That's a week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, from January 8th to the 15th.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I might need that. I might have to, let them know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's different versions. There's different versions. Post the Delaware Code. Oh, you want me to show the Delaware Code? Brother DuPont. That's Title 29.
Yes.
What you say, brother?
Yes, sir. To allow everyone to do their own research and understand what it is that you're saying to them, they can visualize the actual Delaware Code so they can better understand it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this is the Delaware Code, Title 29, Chapter 1, dealing with jurisdiction and sovereignty. And then what I read earlier was Section 106, dealing with the Lenape Indian tribe of Delaware. And this applies for anything Indian, no matter what tribe, Cherokee, Seminole. The whole point is before it was Indian, Moor was before the Indian, right?
That's crazy.
Everybody good on this document? Any statements, questions before Brother Benjamin Bey goes with his demonstration? All right, brother. Did you need to access the screen or anything? Or
I'll see if I can share the screen right quick.
okay.
Only help in this meeting.
Okay, let me switch it. Okay, try now.
All right. Start broadcast. 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. Can everybody see my screen? Can everybody hear me? Mic check or phone check?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Well, I put together a presentation about the British English colonization is not a thing of the past. And this sparked my thought because I was online the other day and I saw a live that Abdulla Bey was putting up, and he was basically showing how that the original 13 colonies are claiming our Moorish lands. And so, I want to slightly expand on what he shared. So, I can not do it like Brother Abdullah, but, just showing how, when we challenge the modern Europeans or whatever, we want to challenge something that's direct, something that they can't change, you know what I mean? So we want to make sure that we say something that they can't get out of, you know what I mean? We don't want to say something that has holes in it. But nonetheless, here we go. British English colonization is not a thing of the past. And he said that because people say, oh, colonization is in colonial times and this and that. It's like, no, colonization is still a thing as we speak. They're still colonizing and gentrifying, as we speak. As the brother was sharing earlier, he was showing you colonization. He just goes to ancient times and to now. He has books showing still the colonization of our land. It wasn't called, California, Alabama, or wherever you may domicile at, or these core those territories. But here we go. How are modern Europeans, the 13 original colonies, claiming their sovereignty over the Moorish lands? And right here, the Treaty of Paris, 1783, was extremely important. And Brother Abdullah was like making this like the stone of the light. You know, if you put a pin in something, then, you know, draw a web from it. Like, this is their stone. This is how they can say, hey, this is New York, this is Alabama, so and so, you know. And the Treaty of Paris, 1783, the definitive treaty of peace between the Kingdom of Britain and the United States pertaining to America. And, you know, that's the original document, you know, in French, because they did it in France. Here we go. The Treaty of Paris, signed in Paris by representatives of King George III of Great Britain and representatives of the United States on September 3rd, 1783, officially ended the American Revolution, but they're not Americans, so I would say British Revolution, you know, or the 13 colonies, because Americans is a continent and Americans are Moors. So I kept that there for a reason, but when you see American Revolution, they're hiding behind our nationality. You know, American is a continent, but the root word in America is MER, so more or America. So think British Revolution. Don't think Americans as in Moors. Think, you know, the British or the 13 colonies fighting between themselves for, you know, sovereignty, because Moors were already doing their thing. And recognize the 13 colonies, which had been part of the colonial British America as an independent sovereign nation. The treaty set the boundary between British North America, later called Canada, Canaan, and the United States. So we know the United States is a corporation set up on the aggregate land, America, on the lines of British labeled as exceeding generously. And this is the colonialization. They're basically come over here claiming you can do this, you can do that, but they can't do that because they're not from here. But, you know, when he says fishing rights, he's like, hey, the King of Great Britain is saying, hey, 13 colonies, you know, you can go over here, you can do this. This is a Moor saying this, you know, it's King George. You know, just stand by conquest and discovery. You know, wherever you go on quest on, you discover, oh, that's a lake. Oh, you can fish in that. You know what I mean? Restoration of property and prisoners of war. So that's important. Say, why are there prisoners of war? You know, that would be more POW. You know, they conquest and discover land. There's already people on that land, Americans. Conquest that and discover that, you know, there's gonna be a back and forth. You know, because they don't belong here. You know, so they discover it. Oh, we were basically not on the downhill, but Moors were getting defeated. So we were prisoners of war. You see Moors, the people of the land, you capture them, discover it, subjugate them, and keep it moving. This treaty and the separate peace treaties between Great Britain and the nations that supported the American cause, including France, Spain, and the Dutch Republic. All right, so these other pale-skinned nations colonizing North American land, they come together as a group, like, you know, Megatron, Transformers, or something. Are known collectively as the Peace of Paris. Only Article 1 of the treaty, which acknowledges the United States' existence as free, sovereign, and independent states, remains in force, and that's important. Why? Because they're still claiming Moorish lands. Why? Off of this peace treaty right here, that Great Britain, the King of Great Britain, gave them sovereignty to them. He was relinquishing sovereignty to them. Like, hey, y'all can go over there and do your thing. I sanction that. Y'all good. Kind of like, hey, Grandma said y'all can go outside and play. Thank you, Grandma. Cool. And right here is I want to say the last page. Putting their fingerprint there and all that. And here's a map of the colonialization of our land. As you see, they're close to the waters, and Moors had this on lockdown. You know, if you read various treaties, the treaty to the Sultan that George Washington made, you know, I want to say that's 1789, but I'm willing to be corrected on that. But he was talking to Moors, and we know Moors are seafaring people. So as you can see, they didn't have all this land. A lot of the places that we call, let's say Alabama, you see where Georgia is right there, it's not even a thing. So where I'm domiciling at, on my footing, I can be like, hey, you know, 1783, it wasn't even a thing. You know, how can you say you're a thing off of the Treaty of Paris? Because the Treaty of Paris gave them these lands, and then they start migrating west, as you can see right here. You know, they got an inch and took a mile, basically, via their hunger. And right here is a diagram of the custody of the colonialization that Brother Abdulla put together. So right here at the top, we got the English-British territorial sovereignty claim under English-British conquest, discovery, colonialization, relinquished to the 13 original states, and Article 1 of the 1783 definitive treaty between Great Britain and the United States. And he used New York State, for example. All right. So we got King Charles, the Duke of York, the Charter of 1664, New York Colony. All right. Moving along. I would say that was his brother, and his brother died. So King George, his brother, got it. So, you know, I'm definitely butchering that. But here we go again. King George II, the Charter of 1689, New York Colony. So basically, he's Noble Drew Ali made the Moorish Science Temple, and he was like, hey, if anyone else want to build a Moorish Science Temple here, come see me. So King George, he's not Noble Drew Ali, but as far as the position of giving out permission of setting up things. So King George was giving permission of setting up colonies. So charters were giving to these 13 colonies, like, hey, you guys are calling yourself New York. Here's a charter for you guys to operate as a sovereign, free, independent, mind or government or governing people, such as Noble Drew Ali. It was like, hey, wherever you're domiciling at in the quote unquote U.S, you can build a Moorish Science Temple, to uplift fallen humanity. That's not the same thing they were doing. They were just trying to get somewhere where Moors weren't tagging on us. Because if you got Moors in Masonry, you'll see how Moors were extremely dominant on the seas. So we're basically in their position. Basically want to be, self-governing. We don't have to be animals. We don't have to go back and forth. But to get back to this and just to explain what King Charles was doing for the original colonies, basically giving them permission to operate as themselves. So British couldn't come over here, Moors couldn't come over here and kick the door down and do all that. All right. So right here, the 1783 definitive peace treaty between Great Britain and the United States, where he's relinquishing in Article 1 sovereignty. Once again, it's like a treaty over the charter. He's like, hey, okay, you guys, you're operating as this whole thing now. Y'all can do this. And they're still using the 1783 treaty because that's what got them all the colonies. They're operating as the United States now. See, we the people, New York State, 1777 Constitution, which is extremely important. So he's showing the chain of custody here through New York State. So I would take this example and use it wherever you are, like me. I'm in Alabama. But you saw before, that didn't exist in 1781, 82, 83. It came in like the 1900s. You know what I mean? So that means there was colonialization ended. Because once it didn't exist, and now it does exist. It's still possible. But you got the Articles of Confederation, 1781 as well, and then you got the second New York State Constitution after 1783, which is the furtherization of the colonialization of the English/the British, claiming Moorish lands, via charters and state constitutions that don't really mean nothing, because at the end of the day, all these things are corporations or plantations set up on the aggregate land. And right here, picture of the actual charters. So, these little pictures that, no, hold up. These pictures that Abdulla made right here, that's the charter, the Duke of York and all that right here. Well, here's the actual picture of British colonial charters. The New York colonial charters were the fundamental law under which the colonists were permitted, you see there's Americans and all that, colonists permitted certain rights by the sovereign. So sovereign would quote unquote be the British, only because Moors were being, on our downtime, we weren't at our strong. One of them, we weren't completely out, but they were doing their thing. As you see, they only had like the 13 colonies on the water. They couldn't just come and do the whole whoop just yet. These documents were the Duke's Laws of 1665. As we go back to the diagram, that Brother Abdullah made. It was 1664, New York colony. This is the area. This is what they were making. You know, the Charter of Liberties and Privileges, you know, which are human things, of 1683, and the charter that was in force at the time of the Revolution, the Charter of the Liberties and Privileges, 1691. All right, you know, there's a picture of it right there, and right here is a picture of the first page of one of the charters. You know, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you know, you can, you know, see if any justice of high constable shall be absent from the sessions within the writing, the shall be paid over days and the whole thing. But I got an actual picture of that. How you see absences and if any justices and how, like, you know, this is an actual picture of the charter written by, you know, colonists of the British. And this is just, you know, the computerized version, but it's showing, you know, there are plenty of these charters that they were just writing and, you know, trying to do their thing, you know, trying to just set up their place and, you know, serve themselves and take over the land. These charters and the 1783 definitive Treaty of Paris is the basis to the modern Europeans claiming to our Moorish lands today currently. Each of the 13 original states during the Constitutional Convention of 1787 delegated more power to a central governing body, giving great strength to federalism. You know, it's federal paper, so, you know, when we did with federal notes, all those guys on there, the Federalists, you know, and federal means just contract, you know, which they delegated powers through the Articles of Confederation, but they were very limited powers. And this is Brother Abdullah is saying this. I'm always like, you know, it's Brother Abdullah, quoting Brother Abdullah right here when he was explaining the charters and the constitution and how they were slowly giving power to the quote unquote government and not to the people. You know, out of the people and to them, which are still a lot of people, but so the corporations. Under the Articles of Federation, the colonies were operating as free, independent, sovereign states, and the states had more power, and the states are the people. Remember, like states of mind. Brother Abdullah shows the chain of custody through the Treaty of Paris, and the colonial states are basing their claims off the 1783 definitive treaty, and that was that piece of paper. Well, I was trying to put it on here, but we can actually go here. Here we go. In the middle, you got Article 1, 1783 definitive treaty between Great Britain and the United States. As you see, it has a circle, and right here, I do have it. We'll get to it. Article 1, which is relinquishing and the whole thing, but as you can see, the basis, circle, and off that, you got him recognizing the Declaration of Independence of 1776, His Majesty recognizing the Articles of Confederation of 1781. These are documents that the colonists on the North American land are writing, and His Majesty is based off of 1783 Treaty of Peace, you know, which basically got them the foot in the door. You know, when the door is like stopping, you put your foot down.
So much.
But yeah, this 1783 treaty is like that door stopper, and then the door they're just pushing and pushing and pushing open, and now they're all way west to California, Hawaii, the whole thing. But you know, this is their basis in the middle right here. You know, so when you think of, you know, oh, traveling, I'm on Moorish land, but they say it's New York. How they can say that? Because of this treaty. This treaty is saying, hey, you can call that New York. You can call that this. You know, and they just got extremely confident off of that. And off of our lack of, you know, wanting to, you know things and things of that nature. But, you know, I digress. All right. Here's a picture of during that time on like the war of siege of Pensacola. And I thought it was like tight to see it's a Moor there, you know. Of course, he's not in like the actual guard, but that picture says a lot. You know what I mean? So the British, most likely today, you know, rolling around, and those are British, I mean, Moorish headwear they have on, you know, so that's important to look. So I just put that in there, and these are the times, and these are Moorish lands, so it's not, you know, a surprise that there would be a Moor right there, you know, holding arms, you know, fighting, whether he was conquered and had to fight along the Europeans to save his family, do he had to do at that time, cool. Or he could have been leading them and, hey, this is our land. We beat y'all up. Y'all are fighting with us for our land. That could be that picture. We don't really know. We can only, spectate. But the Spanish grenadiers and the militia pour into the Fort George oil on canvas, the United States Army Center of Military History. So thought that was pretty tight. So right here, Anglo-Spanish War, 1779-1783. So this is the colonialization and the conquest and discovery. And in the treaty, it says confiscated lands. And right here, this is a war. So I'm sure they're not like, hey, we'll be friends. They're fighting for something. Clearly what they're standing on the land. So by conquest and by confiscation and war, our Moorish land slowly, colonized. But this is a picture of that time. And right here, I hit Alabama because when they're fighting, this location is southeast right here. So this was the colonialization of this part of the land where I domiciled. So I was like, wow. And Alabama area is close to the water. We got Florida, kind of like Georgia, and we got some beaches here as well. So, that shows, how far the reach went, and how close it was, And a lot of our people in the South, Moorish Latin people, think they're Spanish. So this goes like, hey, we're fighting the Spanish. That's why you called Spanish. But keep it pushing. All right. The laws of the colony of New York and be it further enacted by the authority aforesaid, that it shall not be lawful for any slave or slave to have a gun, to have or use a gun, pistol, sword, club, or any other kind of weapon whatsoever, but in the present or by the direction of his or her or their master or mistress, and in their own ground of penalty and of being whipped for the same at the discretion, dissertation, I don't know, of the justice of the peace, before whom such complaint shall come, or upon the view of said justice not exceeding 20 lashes on the bare back of every such offense. And I was just thinking about the 14th Amendment and about prisoners of war. That's basically going on right now. You can't have anything unless it's registered with whomever you're domiciling with. So they took those colonial practices and put them on the people of the land and their people as well. They're violating justice, so their justice is whipping people 20 lashes, and that ain't love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, clearly. So I just wanted to put that in there and just let you know that colonialization is a thing of the past. They're not giving people like 20 lashes on the street, but to get you 20 years, your home taken away, you get your means of providing for your family taken away, and it might as well be 20 lashes. You know what I mean? So you can't provide for your family. What can you do? If you're at the hands of another person. And right here, this is the Article 1 of the Treaty of Peace of 1783, definitive treaty where relinquishing happens. So remember that diagram with the circle in it. And Article 1, this is it right here. This is the relinquishing. So it goes, His Britannic Majesty acknowledges the said United States viz. And that word viz is very important because they were preserving their rights under that. And later on, it's another diagram, but I have it on a piece of paper. That you put the 1783 right here. You write all these names down, including the viz. And then on the other side, you put the Articles of Confederation, and then you write those 13 names down and see the difference when they're calling each other. So they're different in the 1783 treaty than in the Articles of Confederation. So let's go check that out. All right. So you got New Hampshire, Massachusetts Bay, Rhode Island, and Providence Plantations, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, North America, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia to be free, sovereign, and independent states, that he treats with them as such, and for himself, his heirs and successors, relinquishing all claims to the government, propriety, property, and territory rights of the same and every part thereof. So he's like, hey, go to North America, whatever you see, y'all can do it up. You know, and they're like, oh, yay, thank you, priest. You know, and I thought I put this right here as well because Noble Ali talked about, you know, Moors creating the Mississippi River commerce and for trade. You know, so the navigation of the river Mississippi from its source to the ocean shall forever remain free and open to the subjects of Great Britain and the citizens of the United States. So it's like, excuse me, who are the subjects of Great Britain and the citizens of the United States? Moors aren't citizens of the United States, and Moors aren't subjects of Great Britain. Who are subjects of Great Britain and who are citizens of the United States that can come to North America and just freely go up and down the Mississippi River? And Noble Ali told us that Moors dredged that. So clearly that's Moorish property that the subjects of Great Britain and the United States 13 colonies have colonized, and it's still going on right now because they call it the Mississippi River, but before the Mississippi River, it wasn't a Mississippi River, you know? But I wanted to put that in there, so that was very important. And it shows what the subjects of Great Britain. So if they were in the United citizens of the United States, they would be subjects of Great Britain. So that means that all of these quote unquote states are basically subjects of Great Britain or plantations that set up over here. British plantations on North American land that are calling themselves states and Americans. But clearly that's not the case because right here, you know, they just showed themselves. And under Noble Ali, just taking all the covers off. You know, can nothing hide if you know you really look for it. They're just saying who they are. We just got to hold them to that, you know. Properties of such last mentioned persons shall be restored to them. They refund to any persons who may be now in possession the bona fide price where any has been given on purchasing any of the said lands, rights, or property since the confiscation. And I thought it was important. I put that there for confiscations because that lets you know this is, you know, the conquest and discovery and the colonialization of the land. So like, you know, we confiscated that, we took that, you know, that you can't inherit something you take, you know, you inherit a house, you can't take a house, you know, I mean, you can take it, but
Is he muted or can everybody hear him?
No, I can't hear.
Yeah, we can't hear you, man. He might just be having technical difficulty, man. But that's happened before. He be having bad reception sometimes. But Brother Abdullah, did you have any thoughts, Brother Abdullah? I think it might be bad reception where Abdullah's at too. So based on what the brother was going over, any questions or thoughts on that as far as the context of the charters that were issued by the sovereign power, whether it be Queen Elizabeth, King Louis, Henry V, whoever the person is, the context that.
Can you hear me?
There we are. Oh, I can hear you now. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I do have some thoughts. Yes.
Okay.
We want to. It's I want to address the listeners' attention to Article 1 of the definitive peace treaty between Great Britain and the United States. the 1783 Treaty of Peace that ended the Revolutionary War. And I want to address, and then we're going to talk a couple cases, and we're going to show, because we want to make it clear that colonization, English, British colonization is still alive and well. And it's important for us to make that connection. All right, so I want to explain English British sovereignty. English British sovereignty established on our land through English British conquest, discovery, and colonization during the 16 and 1700s. In the colony charters, when the Crown granted colony charters, there's three types of charters. You have the proprietary charters, the company charters, and the royal charters, royal colonies. Proprietary colonies, royal colonies, and company colonies. That is the extension of British sovereignty on our land under conquest. In the colony charters are the boundaries. The survey boundaries are in the colony charters. In 1783, in that treaty, Article 1, His Britannic of the 1783 Treaty, Definitive Peace Treaty between Great Britain and the United States, His Britannic Majesty. This is Article 1. This is, like, you can look it up. Google Article 1 of the 1783 Treaty of Paris, or that's the unofficial name. It's called the Treaty of Paris because it's negotiated in Paris in 1782. It's called, the official name is the Definitive Peace Treaty between Great Britain and the United States. Article 1, His Britannic Majesty acknowledges the 13 states. His Britannic Majesty relinquishes. So English British sovereignty was relinquished to the 13 states in that treaty. The New York State, South Carolina State, Maryland State, North Carolina State, Rhode Island State, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Commonwealth of Virginia. Those states are assuming rights under the various charters through that treaty. People versus Godfrey, a New York State Supreme Court case, 1819. The issue was a Army soldier killed an Army soldier on his way to the barracks with the bayonet. That occurred on a military base. New York State claimed to have territorial jurisdiction over the case based on the 1783 Treaty of Paris. United States claimed to have jurisdiction because of the military base. They had already had the case, but they did not render the decision. They had to determine who had territorial jurisdiction. New York State, it was ruled in New York State's favor to have territorial jurisdiction over the case based on the 1783 Treaty of Paris. Meaning that in that treaty, that Great Britain relinquished the boundaries laid out in the charters to the 13 states. That's a continuation. That's not an end of colonization. That's a continuation. So no one was saying in the 1500s, New York. No one was saying going to New York. I live in New York. Born in New York. No one in the world was saying that. No one was saying New York in the 1500s. No one was saying New York in 1600. No one was saying New York in 1610. No one was saying New York in 1620. No one was saying New York in 1630. No one was saying New York in 1640. No one was saying New York in 1650. When did they start saying New York? 1664. When King Charles II issued a charter to his brother, James, Duke of York, in 1664. When King Charles II transitioned, his brother, of course, ascended to the throne. and granted another charter, 1689. New York State this very day is operating on that. They're claiming rights under that charter, meaning that New York State officials saying that this, on what basis is New York State officials claiming this is New York? You live in New York. You're from New York. You're driving in New York. You live in New York. On what basis are they making that claim? On the 17th, it was relinquished to them through that treaty.
I got a question, brother. So when you say relinquish, that means that the king or whoever, the queen or whoever, gave them power to operate the way they wanted to, and they own within their own state. So that's why they won the case that you're speaking of, correct?
All right. No. Not gave them. What I'm saying is that they relinquished the territory. They relinquished be able to operate in the boundaries that's laid out in the charter, and the boundaries that's laid out in New York County Charter, Pennsylvania County, William Penn's Charter. You have the New Jersey County Charter. There's boundaries laid out that gave them the right to operate, meaning that the fact that they can say this is New Jersey. What gives them the right to say that this is New Jersey? I'm just trying to break it down everyday language. What gives a state official to right to say that this is New Jersey? You drive in New Jersey. You live in New Jersey. What gives them that authority to say that treaty? Because prior to that, it was what? The crown. The crown. Because it was established. New York State didn't establish that. New Jersey State, South Carolina State, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Commonwealth of Virginia, North Carolina State, Georgia State. They didn't establish jack crap. It was established by the British Crown in the 1600s and 1700s. That is, they established British sovereignty on our land through under conquest, discovery, and colonization during the 1600s and 1700s. That was relinquished to the states through that treaty. New York State didn't establish North Carolina State, South Carolina. They didn't establish. The Crown did. That's an establishment of British sovereignty on our land under conquest, discovery, and colonization. Relinquish. We got to talk this language.
Yeah. So when you say relinquish, what kind of context are you using that in?
All right, no, please look, brother. Look up the treaty. Look up the treaty right now. Look up the treaty. No, I'm not. First we go.
Yeah, to release, to let go.
No. Just follow me, brother. Please, just follow me.
I got you.
Just follow me. I want you to look up the treaty.
Because I already wrote that down, King. I got you.
No. I don't want you to. No, brother. Please, brother. Let me say it again, brother. I don't want you to write it down. I want you to Google now. Google the treaty.
I can't do that while I'm on the Zoom call.
All right, so get somebody, please. Somebody Google. No, before I move on.
Well,
because I can explain all day that's not going to help. He has to see it.
How you want me to put it in the Google search?
I need you to show us Article 1 of the definitive treaty. I don't want to explain anything right now. I want to simply see the word.
Article 1 of what?
Of the 1783 Treaty of Paris. 1783 Treaty of Paris. This is the most effective way to do it. I don't want to explain anything. I want the show. I want to show that word is there. So everyone can understand, they will understand why I'm using the word relinquish. Then we can look. The first stage is show the word relinquish in Article 1. That's the first stage. That's the first step. Then we can have a discussion on what relinquish is. But first, look at the article. Look the structure of the look at the syntax in Article 1. Then you break it down from that point. That's the most effective way to do it. You got to put your eyes on it.
You see the screen, Abdullah?
Y'all can see the screen. That's 1783 Treaty of Paris, PDF.
PDF. That's what I thought.
Yeah, PDF. You just need Article 1. You can look up the whole treaty to show Article 1. I want you to read Article 1. This is the most effective way to do it. Because other than that, it's going to be Abdullah said.
Okay, I got Article 1 up. You want me to read the whole
There
thing?
we go. Article 1, yeah, the whole thing. All right, brother, read Article 1, brother.
Can you see it, Brother Shalom? You on mute.
I gotta get my glasses. Hold on.
All right, somebody else. All right, gotta get your glasses. You only take what, 30 seconds?
Because all I'm trying to figure out is the importance of the context of the word relinquish. You understand what I'm saying? You're not answering my question about what we're doing.
Brother, please.
I apologize for interrupting. May I read it?
I put a picture.
Go ahead, bro.
Brother, just be patient with the process, though, brother. I'm with you. It's a process that
Mr. Homie Cardo, may I read it?
Yeah, I want the brother to read it, but you read it though, brother, because I want to walk you through a process, and just be patient with me. Just be patient with the process. That's all.
Absolutely. So we say Article 1, and it says, His Britannic Majesty acknowledges the said United States, viz. New Hampshire, Massachusetts Bay, Rhode Island, and Providence Plantations, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia to be free, sovereign, and independent states. That he treats with them as such, and for himself, his heirs, and his successors, relinquished all claims to the government, proprietary and territorial rights of the same in every path therefore.
That's the context. That's why.
So that means release,
Bloodlines.
No. What I'm saying is, first, I wanted to read it first before I explain. That's all. It's a process. Read first, then explain. I'm going to point out. Right, this is a process. All right, I'm going to point out I want you to see the language in Article 1 with your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
All right? His Britannic Majesty, the said United States, viz. That same structure is in the Articles of Confederation. Viz means namely. So what I want you to do, follow me the process. Get a sheet of paper in your notebooks. On the left side, put United States viz and list all 13. On the right side, put United States. On the left side, United States viz, all 13. On the right side, United States. Mm-hmm. That's why I wanted it up. Because they have two different meanings.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you have United States viz, all 13, they're retaining in the Articles of Confederation. That's the structure in the Articles of Confederation where they're retaining their rights. Each of the states are retaining their rights under the Confederacy, and that was acknowledged in Article 1. That's being acknowledged. It's being acknowledged here. So it's the acknowledgement. His Britannic Majesty did not acknowledge the Declaration of Independence until this. So that's the acknowledgement of the Declaration of Independence. That's the acknowledgement of the Articles of Confederation. He's acknowledging them as individuals, and he's treating them as individuals. And this is why New York State and People versus Godfrey made the claim to have territorial jurisdiction over the case, even though it happened on the United States military base, because it was not relinquished to United States. It was relinquished to New York State, South Carolina State, Maryland State, North Carolina, each of the individual states. That's the language that's in here. So in order for me, I have to first have you see it. This is my method of teaching. My method of teaching is not don't show it and then break down relinquish. That's not my method. This is my method.
Hey, I don't know. And sorry. That voice just sounds so familiar. Like I've watched you in videos before.
You did. You have.
Yes, I did. That's what I thought. Thank you, brother.
And then I trust that my method can carry over to y'all.
Absolutely. Thank you, brother.
That's all.
Yeah.
That you present it like that. Right. That's all. So I'm actually demonstrating on how to present.
I understand what you're saying, brother. Peace and love, first of all. I understand what you're saying, but I'm on a cell phone. I'm not sitting in front of a computer, so I could not Google the things that you were.
No, that's fine.
Hold. Let me finish. Let me finish. Thank you. So I'm not able to Google the things that you're reciting as of on point right then. So that's why I have my pen and my paper like I've been doing, and I write down certain things that I can research myself. You know what I'm saying? Now, all I was asking, I know what relinquish means. I'm not an uneducated brother, but what I'm trying to ask was the context of relinquish in that treaty is what I was trying to understand. I will read the whole treaty myself.
It's Article 1.
First of all, when we are reasoning, brother, and your elevation of your voice is making me a little uncomfortable, okay? So let's lower your voice down and let's talk like respectable brothers and not be all rah, rah, rah. Me and you both are from New York. You sound like you're from New York. I'm from the South.
I'm not from New York.
Okay, well, you sound like you're from up top somewhere. But let's calm it down, brother. I just was asking one question.
I'm from Camden. I'm from Camden, New Jersey.
Okay, you from New Jersey. Okay, no doubt.
So
that's respect.
We're good.
Okay, so at the end of the day, I was just asking a question as far as the context of relinquish. I know the definition, but I was just trying to figure out as it pertains to
once again, brother, the context is Article 1. That's why we have Article 1 up. I'm answering your question.
No, what you did was you told me, nah, Google this and very aggressive and things, and I don't do that very well.
All right, brother.
So let's start that over and we good. Like we're good.
Brother. I wanted you to Google so that you can.
And I explained to you that I could not do it at that time. So that should have calmed everything right there.
All right. Hold on. Let me say this.
Like
right
I'm not for the disrespect. I don't need it, and you know what I'm saying. I'm just being straightforward from the beginning with it.
All right.
I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm offended by the way your tone and how you're talking to me. You're talking at me. You're not talking to me. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Wait, T, you want to say something?
Okay, so what I wanted to explain was a lot of people misinterpret Abdullah's loudness for disrespect or hollering, but what he does is
I get the same thing in Virginia.
Brother, can he finish, brother? Please, can he finish?
It's more so passion. So as he's speaking, it's from the heart. It's not from like any type of animosity for talking to you. Oh, you don't know this, or you don't know that, so I'm gonna tell you. So it's not out of disrespect. It's out of passion. So
how you just related that, your calm, your tone, the frequency of your tone was just like, yo, brother, boom, boom, boom. He could have did the same thing and said the same words, brother. That's all I'm saying.
Passion is Ab. A lot of us don't have as much passion as Ab.
Absolutely. So it's just like Taj. Taj, for instance, Taj speaks, and Taj don't do the loudness because that's Taj. That's the way that Taj do it. He has passion as well. Abdullah has passion, so his tones go up to 10. So different people are different.
Hey, do y'all?
It's not out of disrespect.
Yeah, and I apologize. This the homie Cardo. Hey, brother, to sum it up, I guess in the easiest way, like like thank Samuel L. Jackson. He'd be like, that's just how I talk. Like, you know, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen a lot of videos with the good brother who's been speaking, bro, and that's really his tone. Like, it's no disrespect or anything of that nature. That's how he speaks.
Listen,
You know what I
brother,
mean?
I
So,
get it. I'm from the
and
South Bronx. I get it. But
I feel
everybody
you.
else that's been relaying their message since I've been on these chats, everybody else who's relaying their message, they calm, they cool. My man was like, I thought I was back home for a minute. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just
listen,
trying
Brody. Listen, Brody, I'm in Sacramento, California, and I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. So I feel where you coming from. But I promise you, but I promise you, look past that and understand that, like, the same way how you want that man to understand you, you gotta understand that man.
That's
you feel me, brother? Like, you feel me? That's all it is, brother. That's how he talk, and I promise you, because like once I caught his voice, I realized who this good brother was. Like, he's in a lot of videos, like a lot of stuff, bro, that's been giving us knowledge for years. You hear me? So
I
you know what
got
I'm saying?
you. I'm not taking that from him. You know what I'm saying? This is my first time encountering this brother. So I'm the type of guy like, hey, let's get everything established from the door before we proceed. That's all that is, man.
You're not the first one. You're not the first one to feel that way, brother. I've known the brother for over 20 years. His tone is always.
Because I'm not trying to go South Bronx on this. You know what I'm saying? I got mad respect for the big homie, man. Like, this is a blessing in my life. So I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm humble. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. You know what I mean?
Right. And
that's his version of humble. Believe me, that's his version of humble.
Hey, yo, I get it. I get it. I get it.
When you've been dealing with this for decades, as long as the brother has, and you done seen all the infiltration and the everything.
Oh, okay. So he's trying to. So basically, to break it down, he's trying to make sure I'm about my business or whatever. I get it. All right, cool.
Absolutely. One other thing.
When you've been teaching, and sometimes what you've been taught has been miseducation and wrong concepts.
There you go.
And you figure out in your travels that you've been taught misconceptions and miscommunication. Your passion will elevate because you will want to change that.
Absolutely.
If I do that, I'm gonna scare people. That's what I'm saying. I'm a big dude. I'm tall.
You from the Bronx.
Do that. I do
you
that.
From New York. That's how y'all voice sound, bro. Like, I'm from Baltimore. A lot of people be like, "Oh man, you from Baltimore?"
Yeah,
like,
we can tell.
You feel me? It's like immediately we have that aggressive tone, but like, brother, I feel you. You gotta look past. You gotta remember, you in the world of peace and love.
We good, bro.
It's a
good.
real peace and love. Let's go,
I'm
brother.
just the type of dude that check things at the door. I got to, man. It's all love. Everybody on here from
absolutely, because you from the South Bronx, brother.
Sorry about the interruption. Let's continue.
Let's go.
I apologize, brother.
Let's go, man. My bad, family. We good. Let's go.
I want to make sure what's most important here is that you got the lesson. That's most important. The context of relinquish is in this article. You have to read Article 1 in order for me to answer the question. I have to present Article 1. I wanted to show it on the screen because it has a different impact when people see the words, because you now have what? Hearing and seeing going on. All right. So we clear on the lesson here. I wanted to clarify that colonization is continuous. Because like I said, the colonies were established by the crown, and the boundaries laid out in the colony charters were relinquished to the states through that treaty. I'm showing the chain of custody. It's not an ending, it's a what? Transfer.
Continuation.
A continuation. What way they presented in the schools is a ending. I'm showing you that it's not an ending. The way that it's presented in the general public is an ending. It's an ending. Back in colonial times. It's an ending. It's an ending. That misconception inhibits our growth and development. And Vasirius is right. I've been taught misconceptions for 25 years. 25 years I taught misconceptions to thousands of people. So my passion level has amped up. Vasirius is right. On that, I'll yield the floor.
And may I just pick up or like piggyback off of what you was just basically laying down? It's like when we were taught in school that like the Revolutionary War and all this crap about like the U.S. somehow separating themselves from the crown, and it was like no, the crown was still like, look, y'all my subsidiaries basically. If I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that's what you was touching on, brother.
No, what I'm saying is, all right, they're no longer his subsidiaries through that treaty.
Okay.
All right. You made the claim. Let's clear it up. I'm going to just walk through Article 1.
Okay.
They're no longer British subjects. Why? Because of this treaty. He recognized, his Britannic Majesty acknowledges. All right? Acknowledges. What that means is that he acknowledges the said United States to be free, sovereign, and independent states, that he treats with them, and for himself, his heirs, and successors relinquished all claims. So that means they're not British subjects anymore. Once this is repealed, that they do what? They go back to be what? Once this treaty is repealed, once we come back into power and this treaty is repealed, they go back to being what? They go back to being what?
British subjects.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Yep.
There you go. You got it.
So basically, it only was to those 13 states, and the crown relinquished all claims to the government, propriety, and territorial rights of the same and every part thereof. So they recognized, relinquished the claim, meaning they gave up.
Mm-hmm.
And those states, those particular states, the United States is those 13 states or colonies.
Yeah.
Well, states.
California, states. They didn't mention California, Washington State, none of that. They mentioned these 13 states is the United States.
That's why the original 13 colonies, basically.
That's the parent body.
Yep.
That's the parent body.
Okay.
And he relinquished, so the crown relinquished sovereignty or relinquished the power of claim over those states.
Now you see why we have Article 1 up? Because we can have a discussion on what you see in front of you. That's why I wanted it up. You have a discussion on what you see in front of you. That's why I wanted the brother to put it up.
Got you, bro. I copy, bro. I copy.
10-4. Yup.
What you got in the chat, Ben?
We good?
Yeah. I think everybody clear.
We good, Ben. We good.
We are
good. I love all y'all. Y'all know I do.
Love you too, brother.
And next time in Jersey, I want to check you, bro. We gonna link up, man. We need,
I'm in Philly.
I like to get some more knowledge.
Yeah, no problem. We're gonna break bread.
My auntie live in Maplewood, New Jersey, so you know what I'm saying.
I might treat you to lunch, man. Shucks.
Hey, it's nothing, bro. Definitely, bro. Because you know what I'm saying. I can learn a lot from you too. I see you deep in it too, man. I'm just learning, you know what I'm saying, at 43 years old. It's a humbling experience because I didn't know none of this stuff, man.
That's all right, brother. That's all right. That's all right.
I mean, I'm old. Like, it's crazy. I should have known this years ago. That's
Yeah, I
that's
know,
the
but
embarrassing part of it
we're
all,
gonna
man.
focus on right now, though. We're gonna focus on now. We focus on right
Yeah,
now. You're learning it
it
now.
ain't
You're
never
learning it
too
now.
late. It ain't never too late. You hit that
Thank you.
43. That means that's that 7 you were supposed to hit it at. All of us hit it at different times. You know, I
Exactly.
learned because I had to go into the belly in one of these plantations and somebody schooled me. I didn't get to learn it in the world. I didn't get to learn it by proper channels. I learned it from being incarcerated. And I had to be
Word.
incarcerated for 7 years before I can even understand who Noble Drew Ali was. And it took for me to
Word.
meet Ab. It took for me to meet Ab when I came home in '99 to really get an understanding of what was going on. And we both were going through the misconceptions.
Word.
Yep, we sure were. You
And here we are
That
22, 23 years later, 24 years later.
Yeah,
Word.
24.
And here we still are. 43 ain't too late, bro. I'm 49. And it took me,
I'm 55.
yeah, it took me
Wow, man.
it took
I
me
don't
to do
feel
the
too bad now because at first I was the OG of the group. I thought, you know what I mean?
Nah.
Hey, hey, Morris, I'm gonna say this. I think I'm the granddaddy of the group.
You are. Yes,
I'm
he is.
64.
DuPont is.
I'm 64. And I'm
Yes, he is.
still learning.
Wow, 64. Brother, you look good for